This video will show you a 3-step process to letting go of old beliefs so that you can actually be who you prefer to be. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3-step process that I've used to change my own beliefs. And it's a process that I believe if you change can change just about everything about your life. Now I know that's a big statement, but what we are receiving in our life and what we are perceiving of is a direct reflection of what we believe to be true. So when we get to these core beliefs, what we can do is decide to let go of what no longer serves, and understanding that most of who we are being is a repetitious repertoire of the consistent actions that we've done before. It means that however we have repetitively been has been what we continue and how we continue to be. Now what this means is that we can then begin to change our behaviors. You see, normally we assume that our beliefs create our behaviors, but it also works the other way around, where our behaviors create our beliefs. So if we repetitively do the same things over and over again, if we repetitively think the same thoughts over and over again, what happens is we continue to get the same results. So the idea of this and the power of this whole video is knowing that we can wake up from the autopilot mind, we can consciously choose how we prefer to be, and in that conscious choice is where we take all of our power back. Now, with this process, the first step is simply awareness. We must become aware of what was priorly unconscious. Now, in order to do this, we simply have to ask ourselves the questions, and we have to start learning to observe our thoughts rather than just reacting to them, rather than thinking that that is who we are. Now, there's a couple main ways to do this. One way I've shared many times on this channel is learning how to observe our thoughts from a neutral point of view. Our thoughts aren't good, our thoughts aren't bad, they just simply are. And when we learn how to observe them as that neutral idea, the neutral meaning we give it, that's when we gain our awareness, because we're not charged one way or the other. We're not attached to it one way or the other. So to do this, something you could do to practice this is to, as I say in many videos, go to a park and imagine the people walking by, or go to a park and watch people walk by. Observe the thoughts that you have. Be aware that you can just observe them neutrally walk by. They're not good, they're bad, not bad, they simply are. And then what you do is you realize you don't have to be attached to any of the ones that walk by. You don't have to follow them, you don't have to go with them. Just like you can observe your thoughts, you don't have to go with them, you don't have to identify with them. So that's the analogy I use, just because it kind of makes it easy to understand. But understand that with this, when we observe our thoughts from a neutral place, that's the first step. That's when we gain all the power back. That's when we also learn how to stop overthinking. So you can apply that towards anything. So that's the first step, is becoming aware of what those thoughts are. And then the second step is simply choosing how we prefer to be. This is a choice, and a choice that we make onto the person we prefer to be. So whereas before we can become aware of what we're thinking, we can become aware of those thoughts, we can become aware that a lot of these thoughts came from our parents, our environment growing up, certain beliefs, a certain memory, that in that moment we decided that this is who I am. Maybe it's we got in front of the class and we stumbled our speech and we couldn't speak well, so we made a belief and said, hey, I'm not good at speaking, I don't like to be in front of people, I really care what people think of me. You see, these memories are what our beliefs are grounded in, but we can instantly decide to change that with the choice that I'm no longer going to continue this story. I'm going to create my own from now on. And that's why we have to make a choice. So we could do this in a number of ways. I've shared this way as well before. It's by Dr. Joe Dispenza from the book How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. And it's doing this gesture, saying the words change. That's his technique, is you say the word change anytime you catch yourself with a similar pattern that you no longer want to live. Now what I do is I add in this physiological step where we use our hands like this, and we say the words change, because when you get your body involved, you also change your state of being, and it kind of wakes you up from the autopilot mind. So the idea is you're walking around, maybe you realize you're having old thoughts, old memories creep up, and what you do is you just immediately decide to change, and then you change your thoughts to where you prefer. You change your beliefs and say, I prefer to be this way, and over consistency, you will begin to change that. Now, the third step to this is simply changing our behaviors and starting out small. So with this whole process that I'm explaining to you right now, the main part of it is that our identity, our self-image, the way we see ourselves is something we are always going to remain consistent to. So if we had a memory of in the past of maybe a girl rejecting us or a guy telling you something about yourself and it made you feel a certain way, and that memory always creeps up every time you're in a relationship, that belief of maybe unworthiness, of maybe you aren't worthy because you feel rejected, that belief will continue to perpetuate itself. And that thoughts will continue to come up. But then you make the decision that this is not how I prefer to be. This was one experience. It's one skewed sample. It's not how I prefer to be. And then immediately what you do is you start to revert it back to how you prefer to be. Revert it back to a powerful memory of the opposite. Many times those memories exist in our memory bank. There most likely was a time that somebody didn't reject you, sometime that something positive happened, but we blind ourselves from those because of the momentum of certain thoughts and certain memories we have. So let go of them and decide to put in positive memories or positive behaviors. And this is why we must do this consistently, because the consistency is what adds on to the identity. I say this as well a lot when it comes to creating a video a day. That was the biggest change I ever made in my life when it comes to doing what I love for a living. When I decided to do it daily, I knew that that was going to change my self-image in a couple ways. First off, it was going to make me see myself as a hard worker. Secondly, it was going to make me become the kind of person that just creates so much content and is always giving content and with the intention of helping people. So that changed so much about me because it changed who I am being. It literally changed my identity for the way I view myself. Now, sometimes this can seem hard to change your beliefs. You have to pile on all of these things and you have to start being this person. It's more so do little steps every day. Do something every day that compounds over time. Maybe every day you decide that you want to be a little more extroverted. You want to be able to express yourself and not afraid of being yourself. What you could do is every day you go out, push yourself to talk to one person. You're at an elevator. I'm going to talk to this one person even if it's small talk. I'm at the gym. I'm going to talk to this one person about the workout they're doing. I'm going to push myself to do it. You're at the grocery store. You talk to the cashier and you actually make small talk instead of just, kind of sitting there waiting to put your card in. So the idea is that what we do is we learn how to do this, and over time, just doing it one time every day, you will start to see yourself differently. So this doesn't have to be something that you just jump in, you're like, I'm being someone I'm not supposed to be. Do it a little bit every day. With repetition, you make it a choice that this is who you are now. And over time, those old behaviors, these new behaviors you're creating, will replace the old behaviors. And then you will start to be the kind of person that you prefer to be. So remember, this is a 3-step process. This can radically transform the way that you view yourself. The first step is all you have to do is simply become aware of your thoughts. Become aware that everything you think is fundamentally neutral. There is no built-in meaning other than the meaning you give it. Then secondly, you make the choice that this is not how I prefer to be. This is not the old pattern that's been running my life. It's not how I want to be anymore. You make it a conscious choice, and then thirdly, you wire that choice in with action. You take little action every day. Nothing great, nothing grandiose. I mean, you can do that. I've done that before. It does work. But I want you to I want to encourage you to know that it can be just simple little actions. You're going to become a little bit more intelligent with what you want to be doing for a living. You read a little bit every day. You do these things every day, compounded over time, it will radically transform the way you see yourself. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video. If you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification gear next to the subscribe button so you're able to see the daily videos that I do. Also, I put a free PDF inside the description box on the top 5 Law of Attraction books that absolutely transformed my life. Feel free to download those. There's 2 of those books that are under 50 pages, so I think you guys will find a lot of value in that. Other than that, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace! Much love. Namaste.